Back at it live here. Congratulations. Back at it live here on Talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show. Congratulations to Joanne for she's our latest winner. Knew that Gus Pine is the CEO of the Convention Center Authority, otherwise known as Erie Events. Have another chance for you to win tomorrow, 5:20, right here on Talk Erie, and get a instant winner of some gas. The when we get back after the news.
Yeah, you want to beat me up?
No, I don't.
Aww.
I want to talk to you about this fascinating panel I saw from the Deal Book Summit. This is the New York Times, okay? So, everybody's, the New York Times. No. This was astounding who was on this panel.
Yeah, I watched it. You put it up.
Oh,
I did.
That's right.
I watched
you
it.
watched it? Mm-hmm. Oh, my gosh.
Had Ben Shapiro, had
Charlemagne,
yeah.
had the lady from PBS,
Mm-hmm.
had John Favreau from the podcast Save America. I mean, and that one dude who what is that, the Fearless, or what podcast is that one guy, that Anthony? Like, he was astounding how smart he was.
Yeah, it was cool.
And he's mixing it up with Stephanie Rule from MSNBC and the dude from The New Yorker. It was fascinating viewing. Captured me for like an hour and a half on my Saturday here. So we'll talk about that and talk about journalism in 2025. What the heck is it? And I guess we're doing it here, opinion journalism. Talk about a totally full Monday edition of the Joel Natale Show, live from our Kingdom Financial Group studio here at 5th and State. Dean Pepicello is with us. You can join us at 814-679-1080. All right, Dino, you said that you watched that Journalism Interrupted roundtable there with podcasters, with news folks, and you definitely got a sense. Again, this was conducted by the guy that does the Daily, Michael something. You ever listen to the Daily podcast on the Times?
I don't.
It's pretty interesting.
I believe it. I should do more of it. I don't. I listen to it because you put it up. That's why. So I knew it had to be good.
And it goes. I love that they pointed out, and Ben Shapiro pointed it out. And other folks, Michael, who was the moderator from the New York Times, pointed out, is that they really encourage, Ben especially encourages people to listen across the spectrum to different voices.
Absolutely.
And so, I'm listening to Pod Save America and the Daily, let's say, and Ezra Klein, I think, is fascinating. But I'm also listening to Ben Shapiro and obviously there's shows here on 105.9 that are, right of center, right? And so you hear different voices and things. And that's how it used to be. Here's the thing. Right now, podcasts are kind of the equivalent of when you read the columnists in the newspaper. Mm-hmm. Do you remember picking up the newspaper?
Absolutely.
And you would have Eugene Robinson,
E.J. Dionne, George Will.
Yeah. I mean, you had remember when Ann Coulter was in the Erie paper and the people freaked out?
Right. Most of those columnists now will be called rhinos. The Republicans at least will be called rhinos now.
Yes.
You know that.
Yeah, George Will, they can't stand him.
Exactly. And those people were the voice of the Michael Gerson, and there were others.
Michael Gerson, Jonah Goldberg.
Right. Right now,
I used to love reading Jonah Goldberg.
That's how much the country's changed. That was 20 years ago, right? It's not that long ago.
Not that long ago.
Now
10 years ago.
MAGA would definitely consider them rhinos. They call them all rhinos. So interesting how things change in the media. Right. Go ahead, sorry.
Well, just the idea of, they made the distinction of, and even Shapiro said, we count on the Washington Post and the New York Times and the Wall Street Journals of the world to do the original reporting so that we can identify it and then comment on it.
Agreed.
And so you need them in the trenches. Now, do you look at them and just totally swallow everything, whatever they say? We talked about the Associated Press once here at these mics. There's even, leanings in an Associated Press article. Easily, But you take the facts where they are. If you have a critical thinking mind, which is, that's asking a lot, I guess, these days. But if you're a critical thinker, you can consume lots of different sources. The key is not to be afraid of hearing stuff outside your bubble or your echo chamber.
So you've done that here. Like you'll hear both sides. People accuse you of not doing that. None of that's true, right? People hear what they want to hear sometimes. Yeah. Could you go out right now and cover a story and cover it right down the middle with just facts? Could you do that? Not in your talk show. If you were a reporter, right?
Yeah, if I was a reporter, I think I could, but I am. I'm proud. I'm a proud Reagan Republican. I mean, that was my first vote, as an 18-year-old. And so, there's going to be a worldview that's infused in that report.
That's what I'm saying. Who do you trust? And to Shapiro's point, who do you trust? I am watching more liberal mainstream media than I ever have because I'm at the point where I know what the conservative outlets are going to say.
Sure.
I know it. Yeah. Like, I get it, and it kind of bores me, to be honest. Like, I'm like, I've seen this, right? We're doing the same thing at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We were doing 8 o'clock this morning. It's the same thing. So I know. So I will look other places, right? It has helped me formulate my opinion, but I couldn't I don't know what a fair reporter is anymore. I don't know what a fair outlet is anymore outside this radio station, because you try to bring both sides in all the time. That's different. You're looking at, you're not doing the report. You're kind of facilitating what goes on.
And I'm letting people give their worldview.
Exactly.
If somebody comes in that microphone where you're sitting at, and you know what, maybe they are wildly against the president, or think Congress is just out of whack. We're going to let them have their say. Now, do I get beat up from the right on that by allowing somebody to have some free speech? I get beat up.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how you know you're doing it right. When everybody's mad at some point, it's how you know it.
Yeah, everybody's mad. Yeah.
That's how I think I know that I'm doing it right sometimes. Do you think, like, Walter Cronkite, was he fair? Was he right down the middle?
I think so. You know what, though? He definitely, when he went against the war and went against Johnson, I mean, he was definitely coming from a point of view that a lot of folks in flyover America did not appreciate. I mean, you think about it. Where do most of our fighting, our war fighters come from? They come from the South and the Midwest. Let's just face it. Mm-hmm. And it's a different ethos. It's a different worldview than if you're a coastal elite. I'm not saying they're not patriots. They are patriots. But Cronkite, pushed the envelope by basically. Now, he was reporting what he considered an unjust war.
Right.
And he was probably right.
Yeah. But I think, agreed. When you look at the future of media, and that's basically what it was, right? Can you trust the media, and what's it look like in the future? I don't think you could look at any report and think, well, I got all the facts and now I can make a decision. I think you're going to have to spread out, do what you do, look at other things. But the people you're doing an injustice to yourself if you're only in search of what you think you agree with. And I think a lot of that goes on in this country right now, where I'm only going to watch things that I agree with. I'm never even going to look at any other opinion. And it drives a lot of hatred. I think it drives a lot of misunderstanding of democracy and of this country. So I hope that what came out of that panel is look at everything, learn everything, and make a reasonable, informed decision.
Let me ask you about those that will beat me up on, well, all you consume is mainstream media. Oh, I hear you quoting the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, or Apple News aggregate, and you're not reading Rumble. And you're not reading, Breitbart, or some far right, or I'm not reading, The Nation, any far left stuff. Do I need to? I don't know.
Well, you only have so much time. I mean, we're still working for a living, for goodness sakes. It's not you got kids. But
people think that the mainstream media is totally garbage, and the real news is on Rumble. Well, that's just somebody. No, I don't.
Exactly. No, I think it's important, and I'll pick it up a little bit. And there's certain things, and all of it. You need to take in as much as you can of all of it, but the fringes in particular, there's only so much you can do. Yeah. But you're not just swallowing what the mainstream media is feeding you either.
No, not at all.
Right? You're not. I think you're making an informed decision as a free American who's consuming as much reasonable information as they can and making informed decisions.
One of the things they talked about on that panel was that there is more media consumption than ever before, yet we are as divided of a country than ever before. Well, not than ever before, but in the modern era, where you have to go way back to pre-Civil War, post-Civil War for the divisions.
Well, it's technology, right? Technology has changed that. Not all of it is good, by the way. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing unless, again, you focus on this one thing. I'm getting all my news from TikTok. What are you doing? Not going to make you, that's not going to inform you.
Yeah.
I ripped our buddy Joe last week for watching MSNBC only. And I feel that way. Like, you're clearly not getting any other. And I know a lot of those people on both sides of that aisle. So I think the technology's, I hate the social media because of the downsides of it. The upsides are you can consume more, but you have to do your homework. You have to do a little more homework, right? You're not turning on the nightly news and it's Peter Jennings or Tom Brokaw and everybody got their information there. That's not a good thing either, necessarily.
Yeah, again, let's face it, living in New York, all you do is talk to journalists. You're going to fall in a bubble. And that's, again, going back to this Deal Book Summit thing, that's what Ben Shapiro was saying to the guy from the New Yorker and Stephanie Ruhle from MSNBC. Is like, you're in a bubble, whether you acknowledge it or not. When we hear about NPR, and again, I don't think they deserve to be defunded, and certainly not our local PBS station deserve to be defunded. But when you hear that the NPR National had 83 journalists, not one of them was from the right.
Why are the taxpayers paying for that?
Why are the taxpayers
I get your argument about defunding, but why are the taxpayers paying for that?
Yeah.
I'd say the same thing about if they were right-leaning.
True.
Why are the taxpayers? I mean, PBS locally is so awesome. I get it.
Yeah,
but that's a huge problem.
Yeah, I think we're talking about two different things. Yeah. The local PBS, the local NPR, is a public service to this community and should be funded. But these national organizations where they can tap into pretty much unlimited resources, and they didn't depend on the Corporation for Public Broadcasting anyway. So I think that the defunding went the wrong way there. But wasn't it? I mean, again, you're a media watcher. It was fascinating to see that conversation.
Yes, but I'm old school. Like, you're a little older than me. I mean, I'm more old school than you, probably because you're in the business. I don't do the podcast. I don't have TikTok. I don't have Instagram or whatever. I'm still getting my news kind of the old-fashioned way. It doesn't mean mainstream media. Yeah, I'll read as much. But it's the New York Times. It's the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah.
I still consider them. They have the gravitas, right? I still consider them, and maybe that's incorrect on my part. I'm also going to catch CNN and MSNBC, and I'm going to catch Fox, and I'm going to catch Newsmax. And now I don't get much further than that. You run out of time. But I feel like an informed consumer. I feel informed when I go vote, and I have certain leanings. That's always going to be colored in our world by our leanings, like you talked about being a Reagan Republican. But you're asking what is essentially, you hate to say this, broad brush it, but a lazy country right now, right? We accuse the young people of being lazy. You're asking them to do more work than ever to get their information, to be informed about their elected leaders.
Right.
That doesn't work. Like, that formula doesn't work. But that's what we're asking. There are more forms of media to consume. You're asking young people to go out and consume more to make an informed decision.
Well, I mean, we do candidate profiles. We're asking them to listen to a 20-minute conversation instead of a 2-minute video clip.
Yeah, right. A lot of work.
To understand where the candidates are that are important to them. They're going to spend $500,000, or $500 million, excuse me,
right,
of taxpayer money here in Erie County. I'm not sure how many people did that. Hundreds did.
Exactly.
But, compared to, what was it, 60,000 people that participated in that election?
You mean the county executive race?
County executive race?
Yeah. Well, that was... I'm not sure anything that was said on this podcast would have mattered in that particular election. By the way, did I not tell you can't veto money back into a budget? I said that
you
can't, and that's what the Commonwealth Court upheld.
Can you weigh in on local media? And again, we're in a predicament where a lot of our, other than our amazing legacy reporters, the Lisa Adams, the Sean Laffertys, the folks that have been around a while, that the TV guys have it hard because the business model doesn't allow them to pay, in this market, to pay somebody to be here more than a couple years, and they go and they go up to a bigger market. So it's the newspaper guys that pretty much, are setting the tone. There's so few of them anymore. Are they, for the most part, offering a fair shake, or do we have to be careful too when what we're reading in the Times News? I've been doing this 20 years. Yeah. So when you're talking about a veteran reporter, regardless of the media stream, I feel like I have an understanding with them and they have an understanding with me.
when I ask you to do a story, I'd like you to do a story, and I'm going to make it newsworthy. And if things are bad, right, we make a mistake or something goes wrong or whatever, I'm not running from that. I hate these politicians that if things are good, you'll see them out front, and if things are bad, they're hiding behind spokespeople, or you make somebody else go out, or you don't comment at all. So for the people that have been around, I trust them. Okay, and I think they trust me. If I call them and say, this might be a story, here's what we have going on, I think it's newsworthy. Sometimes it is for them, sometimes it isn't, but I trust them, and I think they trust me. The younger people are a totally different story, right? There's nothing against them, because many of them learn in a hurry and become very good reporters and jump markets, and I like them. I like all of them. I've never felt bad about a story that was run about us. Never. Even a story that I disagreed with. I've never felt bad about it. So, but I think their game is, man, I'm getting on and off in a hurry, and I'm jumping markets, and they can't make the money they make. I mean, you can only do that so long, right? You can't be.
Yeah, you're just trying to make your rent.
You got to, at some point, you're going to switch careers or jump markets. That's just the reality of, in particular, TV, and certainly in radio in this market. But I think we're getting a fair shake. Do I, does a 22-year-old reporter leave after asking me 4 questions that I answered exactly the way I want to? Do I think they really got the story? Probably not. They got the story the way I wanted to give it to them, if I'm being honest, right? Ed Pepicello calls, Carol Pello, and she was alive calls, Carol, right? Wow. It was like Paul Wagner calls. It's like they're gonna work you.
They're gonna push you,
right? Now, you're gonna be fair at the end of the day, but they're gonna push. So that's changed. But do I think you can trust? Yeah, I think I could trust the story. I can't always trust the headlines, maybe, because I think headlines are trying to grab.
There's no doubt.
To grab people, but I trust the story, sure.
I got to leave it there. I'm way over. But
sorry.
Thank you, bro.
Thanks for letting me go on that.
I love it. Love it. Thanks so much for all that you do.
You bet.